Good morning, beauties. Happy Saturday. Welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while since I posted, but as the title says, this is going to be a life update video so I can let you guys know what I've been up to and what's been going on. So all of the items I'm using, of course, are going to be listed in the description below. So, like, subscribe, all those good things. Well, where do we start? So first, I did get to go see my first Sleep Token concert. I was so happy. It was on September the 30th here at Pinnacle Bank Arena. It was great. Seeing them live was an experience beyond just amazing. Um, but life loves to just screw with me. And unfortunately, the day before the concert, I get news that my biological father had passed away. Now, me and my biological father were not close by any means. I could probably count on one hand how many times I've seen him in person. And honestly, I had gone basically no contact with him after I moved here, um, because without giving out too much information or without getting y'all too much into my business, he and I just did not, he was not a prominent figure in my life. He was not always there. I kept feeling like I was chasing after him for that father-daughter relationship, and it should not have been that way, but it was. So, long story short, he died the day before the concert, and I was kind of stuck thinking, wondering if I should go or not. I'm glad I went because, for one, I spent a good amount of money on these tickets. I was not going to not go. And then, two, I needed that catharsis, that moment to scream, yell, shout, feel not feel what I'm feeling, And of course, I took a couple of days off for bereavement. I unfortunately was not able to make it to Chicago for his funeral because honestly, I did not have the money to go. This economy, it's a bit rough right now. This economy is hard. And yes, I work two jobs, but I'm also up to my neck in credit card and student loan debt. And somebody pointed out to me that, maybe I just was not meant to be there. I always listen to God and the universe, and I ask for signs to say, hey, am I where I need to be? And I could not have gotten a better sign that I just was not meant to be there. I, of course, did my due diligence. I made sure that all the appropriate paperwork was filled out so that he could be cremated properly and he could have a decent service. Um, Outside of that, I mourned in my own way. I allowed myself to feel those feelings of that little girl who was craving that relationship with her father and never got it. I let myself process my grief because it was overwhelming me at one point. Because, for one, I don't do well with death. I've had a lot of experience with people I love passing away, and it's hard. I'm not gonna lie, it is always difficult. The first person I lost was my mom back in 2017. Then or was it 2000? No, I'm sorry. Correction. I lost my mom back in 2014. I lost my dad back in 2017. That's when I decided to move out here. I had lost my baby sister around 2022. So I've dealt with death. I've gone to funerals, I've gone to repasses, I've helped plan things, and it's never easy, and it's always hard. Anytime you lose somebody, you're hard, especially when you're close to them. It gets even harder. It's worse. So it was another death that I had to figure out and sort through, but it also led to a lot of questions. Me asking myself, am I really sad that he's gone, or am I sad that there's not going to be a reconciliation, that we're not going to be able to get that closure or talk to each other anymore? But, after not speaking with each other for several years, it's pretty much a nail in the coffin at this point. But the goodness, the light in all of that darkness is I got to go see my favorite band in person. I got to see them. I had some really great tickets. Well, pretty decent seats. I wasn't in the nosebleeds, but I was pretty up. I was in section 111. So if you've ever gone to Pinnacle Bank Arena, you know where that is. It's upward. I didn't want to do general admission because, mama ain't in the best shape. I was not going to be standing for 2 hours. Also, special shout out to Thornhill. Their set was incredible. That man has a set of pipes on him. That was incredible. I was not familiar with their game. I was not familiar with who they were. But now that I am familiar, I have another band that I need to now go obsess over. And I really hope they become just as successful as Sleep Token. I do feel like not the band, but the audience didn't give them as much hype. But then again, if they were like me, they're like, no disrespect to Thornhill, but we were really just looking forward to seeing Sleep Token. Like, it was just, especially because my Sleep Token obsession began back in like 2020 during the pandemic when Schmovid was around. And, well, it's still around, but you know what I'm trying to say. So, for me, it was The Summoning. That was the first song that I ever listened to from them, and that was because it was trending on TikTok. Like, the sound was going viral. Everybody was making, like, thirst traps to it and stuff. But I was like, that's such a cool melody and beat, and it was just so ear-catching. See what I did there? Not eye-catching, but ear-catching. Anyway, so... and it was so great, and I was like, okay, let me check this out, because the sound is everywhere. I need to see this for myself. So I fell down the rabbit hole. I listened to everything that had ever came out from them. I listened to everything from the covers. They had some covers like Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody. They have Outkast, Hey Ya covers. So let's see. I think I have all 4 albums downloaded to my phone. I have Sundowning, This Place Will Be Your Tomb, The Shelter Above, and Even in Arcadia, which is their newest album. I have favorites from each one, and I've tried very hard to narrow it down and say, well, which ones are my die-hard, ride-or-die go-tos, and it's hard, because all of them are so good. Now, their earlier stuff is definitely a lot more emotional. If you've ever heard Blood Sport, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That man is literally crying on the track, and it is so moving and heart-wrenching, and it's so, the emotional intelligence and vulnerability on that song is incredible to me. Now, if you are living under a rock and you don't know who I'm talking about, please, Google is free. Please utilize Google. Sleep Token is a British band. I would primarily say that they are heavy metal. I know some people do not put them in that category, but I don't see why they would not. They are a heavy metal band. You've got Vessel, who is the lead singer. You've got 2, who is the drummer, and 3 and 4. 3 is the bassist, 4 is the guitarist. I think I got that right. Sometimes I get those 2 mixed up. Don't judge me, okay? Just don't want to hear it. So, and of course you have the background singers, which are the Aspera, and they are so hauntingly beautiful. Their melodies, if you ever get to hear like isolated tracks of just the Aspera doing backup, you will just, you'll be in a level of heaven. And the whole band is amazing. The one thing that they're known for is they all perform anonymously wearing masks, and they are just amazing. Vessel is a siren. You cannot convince me otherwise, because that man, even though I was at the concert, I have videos, I have pictures, I have footage of being there. You can hear me in the background and I'm just screaming and everything. There's actually one video, I think it's during the summoning, I'm literally yelling, I'm ovulating. But but no, anyway, so yeah, they are an amazing band. Great, love them. If people hate Sleep Token by any means, that is a very forced hate. You actually have no reason. You just don't have any taste. I'm sorry, I don't make the rules. How can you hate them? How can you possibly hate them? They are so amazing. Anyway, enough about that. So, after the concert, I was just, first of all, I've been riding that dopamine ever since, and I absolutely hate the fact that it's starting to fade. Like, post-concert depression is so real. So between that and real depression from losing my dad, I ended up taking a couple days off just to kind of get my brain together because, I still have life to live. I have bills to pay, and I don't get the luxury of not being present. Like, I still have, no one's going to pay these bills except for me. So I still have to kind of deal with all of those emotions while going to work and getting life in order. So that's what I did. I took a couple days off to get my brain right, to emotionally prepare because, again, I've got bills to pay. I like to keep paying said bills and keep a roof over my head. So we did what we do best. And I sought out therapy. I've been journaling. I have been coping with those feelings. To be honest, this video is it's kind of hard to describe how it feels. I'm sure that there are plenty of people who have lost a loved one and they know that feeling, but when it's a loved one who you were not particularly close with, but you wanted to be close with, it does hit differently and it hits a lot harder and it's not fun. Because there's a level of almost like a void. Like, that person, even though they weren't very present in my life, they're still someone that I did not want to suffer or see pass away or any harm come to them. I just wanted them to show up for me the way I need them to. And unfortunately, that was not the case. And it's nobody's fault. It's nobody's burden to carry. Unfortunately, things just happen the way they happen. And all we can do is cope with that and move forward with life. And that's what I've been letting myself do. I've been letting myself cope and go forward. So, another piece of good news is I finally got a car. After 8 years of being a passenger princess, I finally do have a vehicle I can get around in, so that's been really nice. I would post a picture, but I'm not about to do that. It's an older vehicle, but it works. It goes from point A to point B. I've been occupied with doing some of the little fixtures on it, like my headlight had to be updated or changed, and I really do want to get it, I want to get it detailed, but I'm contemplating if I want to spend the money to get it detailed, because it's also old. It's like a 2008, so I'm like, do I really want to spend the money to do this? So, but at any rate, losing my dad, because again, my father was not very present. My stepdad was more present. He had known me since I was 3. He had been there for everything. Even after my mom died, he was still supportive. He still stepped in, even though he himself was dealing with his own illness and sickness at the time. He was still present. And that is, that's the important thing. So I do give my stepfather a lot more praise and confirmation and affirmation because he was there and present. And I would love to amend my father for wanting to be there, but ultimately he was not, and effort makes all the difference. I will say this: if you are having daddy issues, seek out therapy and sort through those, because when you cannot get the end result that you want and you're not able to get that closure, if you're like me and you tend to spiral because of these things, seek out therapy. Seek a professional. I'm going to be, actually, one of my coworkers did recommend a morning therapist, well, a morning group rather, which I will be looking into sometime this weekend, because although I can say to myself, yes, I feel healed, at the same time, I cannot, there's still certain factors of this that I'm still struggling with. And that is just life. But this is why those resources are available. This is why, having community is very important. This is why it's important to be able to say, okay, you know what? I can't do this alone. I need help. I need someone to say, hey, I need someone to hold my hand through this. And sometimes it happens like that. You just need somebody to say, hey, I know exactly what you feel. You're validated in feeling that way. And you're not alone in feeling that way. So that is something that I am going to be pursuing very, very soon. Granted, hopefully time allows me to, because I've also been, my biggest thing is when I'm dealing with my emotions, I tend to have to keep myself busy a lot. So I tend to throw myself into work or cleaning a lot or running errands. Like, I just have to stay busy, because the minute when I'm busy, I'm not thinking about it and I'm not obsessing over it. I'm just coping in the best way that I know how, and that's just to stay busy, which I'm sure is like, what's the word? Deferring. But we're working on that. We'll work on that next. So, because, a lot of times, when I was always the child that nobody had to worry about because they just knew I was going to be okay. When truth be told, I wish that there were more people to check in and say, hey, how are you? I hope you're okay. Which people have been checking in on me. I have been self-isolating myself, which again is not a good idea. But I'll be honest, I don't always make the best decisions. So I'm taking accountability for that. I don't always make the best decisions. But anyway, so I'm going to be going back and forth a lot between my dad's burial and the concert, not going to lie. But the concert, so if you know me, which most of y'all pretty much don't at this point, you get an idea as to who I am. But I am not a very social person. I don't like crowds. I don't typically do concerts. I think this is only the third concert I've ever been to in my life. Ironically, all of the concerts I've ever been to have been here in Nebraska. I saw Bone Thugs and Harmony, like the first year I moved here, they came here. I saw them in person. I have seen the Wailers. I've seen, there was a Prince tribute concert that I went to. That was amazing. Which I felt a need to go because I love Prince, still love Prince. He died 2 days before my birthday. That is a fact I will carry with me for the rest of my life. But I still love Prince. I love his whole attitude, his demeanor, his music. He was just one of those musicians that just had it. That was the boss, the it factor. They just had it, and he was just amazing. So yes, I love Prince. Purple Rain is still one of my favorite films. Although I do love Under a Cherry Moon, which is still good. If you've never seen Under the Cherry Moon, honey, you're living under a rock. Alright, let me just let this here. You're living under a rock. If you haven't seen it, I know everybody's like, not everybody can act. I will agree, not everybody can act. But Prince does a really great job. And what else has Prince done? Oh, he's also done Under the Graffiti Bridge, or Under Graffiti Bridge. No, or it's just Graffiti Bridge, I think. But anyway, so the concert itself, I haven't, like I said, I don't want to say antisocial, but I'm very introverted. I really don't do crowds. I'm not comfortable in a crowded situation. If I do go anywhere, I'm reading the vibes. I'm trying to figure out, like, do I really want to be here or not? And all of that. But, when I found out that they were going to be here, I was like, I'm going. Like, hands down, I'm going. I have to go. It's not even a request. It is a mission. I have to go see this concert. I have to go see them live. I have been listening to their songs and their music for so long. Excuse me. I have my own playlist, and it gets played at least once to 3 times a day on repeat. So yeah, I was like, I have to go to this concert. And it sucked because right around the time that they were coming, my best friend had moved to Colorado. So I'm like, oh man, I gotta go by myself. That sucks. I don't want to have to do this by myself, but I'm also one of those people. I'm like, all right, if I got to do it by myself, I'll do it by myself. We'll deal. We'll put our big girl panties on. We'll deal. So I bought my ticket. Okay, so with tickets, because I was not familiar with StubHub, so I got nervous because they were like, "Oh, we'll send you your ticket at the day of the concert." I'm like, "Well, that seems a little odd." So I got really worried, and I had already spent like $200 on StubHub getting my tickets, and then I was like, you know what? I would rather be sure than it comes to the day of the concert and then I can't get my ticket. So I went ahead and got my tickets from Ticketmaster when the actual, because this was the ticket that I bought had been before the concert. I mean, before the official tickets dropped. So that was another thing that made me kind of like worried. So I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to go ahead and just purchase another ticket from who I know is a legitimate source. So that way, best case scenario, I have 2 tickets. Worst case scenario, I only have 1, but at least I'm guaranteed to get in. And ironically, I was wrong because I ended up having 2 tickets. And so I was like, oh, it did come. StubHub is legitimate. Okay, well, I got 2 tickets, but actually it still worked out because the ticket I bought with Ticketmaster was a lot better than the StubHub one. I think the StubHub one was all the way in the nosebleeds, whereas the one I bought with Ticketmaster was like section 111, so it worked out perfectly. So I wore this cute little skull printed dress that I got off Shein. It came right on time. I really wanted to lean into like an alternative look. I didn't want to look like myself. So I had done like extra long claws, like my claws are like out to here, and I had done like this brown glitter with sunflowers because sunflowers is my thing. Because I wanted something that was like fall vibes, but also like gothic in fall, if that makes any sense. So we went ahead and did that. I wore this cute red and black wig. And I tried to match my makeup to the wig. It worked out very well. And I had fun. So first of all, the concert, they changed the time. So the doors opened at 7:30. No, the concert started at 7:30. The doors opened at like 6:30. So when I first got there, I just saw crowds, loads of people everywhere. And I'm like, oh my God, I really did not think it was going to be this much of a turnout. But people were literally coming from everywhere. I had talked to some girls. I found a place to sit because, again, I'm not going to stand for an hour and some change. Because I think most of the people who were there had bought a lot of general admission tickets. And I'm not going to lie, there was no real order. People were just kind of like in line. They were just told, okay, just stand here and this is where you go, da da da. So I had talked to some people. Some people had came like from Texas. Some people had come from, Iowa and Ohio, just kind of all over the place, which was so interesting to me. And that was nice. And I started getting like little trinkets. So I've never been to a major concert like this, especially a rock concert. I was not aware that people, come and they bring trinkets and little stuff like that. So I ended up getting, and you'll see this on my TikTok page, I ended up getting these very cute little Jerry flamingo toys. That was cute. I got some, cute other little trinkets, like I got a couple bracelets and stuff like that. So it was great. Everybody who I saw was super sweet, very, very kind. I got complimented on my outfit and my hair, and of course my makeup. Man, my heart was so full. So the first song of the set was Look to Windward, and of course if you see the concert footage, it starts off after Thornhill performs. It starts off huge curtain, and the Sleep Token emblem is slowly coming together on screen, and you hear Vessel's voice for the first time. I'm getting chills just thinking about it. It just, and then would you hold this eclipse in May? And as soon as he hits that note, the curtain falls and you see lights and you see the band and you see Vessel. I ain't gonna lie, he was the first thing I was looking for, of course. I was like, where is Vessel? And I'm just also trying to take footage, and I'll try to cut some of that footage in if I can. If not, there will be a separate video of all of, all of the things. So, and it was just 2 hours of beautiful, beautiful worship. They had there were several people who had like they were sending out these little stickers for Damocles, so you can either do orange or purple. And they're like, during Damocles, flash your phone to Vessel, show them that you love him. And I did that for a little bit, but again, I also still wanted to get footage because I wanted to be able to look at this footage again and again and again and just enjoy. I had such an emotional response when Caramel was playing, because Caramel is one of my favorite songs, but it also just hits me in the right way. So when that was playing, everything I had been feeling about my dad was really coming to surface. So I was just crying my eyes out, and I'm not even ashamed to say it. Like, I needed to have that cry, and I hadn't had that cry. The person next to me, I had told her and her friend, I was like, hey, I'm so sorry if I get emotional. My dad just died yesterday, and da 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 da. And she was like, oh, honey, it's okay. She was so sweet. I forgot her name. I believe her name was Alexa. But she was so sweet. Her and her friend, they were so like supportive, which I kind of needed that support, And he did. So they did Look to Windward, they did Provider, they did Thread the Needle. Oh no. Sorry. Little snafu there. Thought I had poked my eye out. Of course, they did Caramel, one of my favorites. They also did The Summoning, Granite, which is another one of my favorites. What else did they do? They did Vor and Gods, I believe. It's so crazy because I was there, but it also feels like a fever dream. I'm like, did all that really happen? Was I really there? I started questioning my own judgment. I really felt like I was gaslighting myself at one point. I'm like, did all that really happen? Was I really there? It feels like such a, and I'm sure other people feel like this too, where it feels like we were there, but it feels like we weren't. It feels like it was an out of body experience, which is how I feel when I listen to Sleep Token. So that tracks. I have also discovered Lo-Fi Sleep Token, which is what I'm listening to now. As I get ready, you may hear snippets or not. I may have to edit it out because YouTube loves to copy strike me. Or age restrict me, which is ridiculous. But if you ever get to listen to even in Arcadia and Lo-Fi, is the whole album is just, it's a vibe. It's even more relaxing. Special shout out. Oh, actually, not a thing, but special shout out to my girl Naomi for actually putting me on to Lo-Fi Sleep Token, because she sent me a video and it's. I started listening to it. I was like, okay, now I have to listen to all of Even in Arcadia and Lo-Fi, and I've been obsessively listening to it for the last couple days. I'm giving very Amy Winehouse. I realize that, but you know what? It is what it is. I'm working the night shift tonight, so I'm not going to. I'm not worried about it too much. So that's what's been going on with me. I will say again, going through another loss of a loved one is difficult. But I do want to, again, special shout out to my girl Naomi, who has been, throwing me all types of like she's been sending me all types of concert coverage and stuff like that. And me and her have been talking, and she's such a sweetheart. So it's Naomi, if you see this, hi sweetie. Um, and it's so funny because she had actually tagged me, or not tagged me, but she had reached out to me on TikTok, and she was like, "Hey, do you want to join this group with of melanated women like ourselves who also love Sleep Token?" Which shout out to all the melanated queens I saw who were at Sleep Token, because I ain't gonna lie, I live in the Midwest. I was not expecting to see a whole lot of us. You know what I'm saying? So it was so nice to see people of the same color who also enjoy Sleep Token, and me and her, we joined this cute little group together, and she is slowly becoming one of my best friends, and she's such a sweetheart, and I love talking to her. Because now I have somebody else who can share my obsession. And it feels like falling into the deep. So, yeah, that was the first concert I had ever gone to. That was my first rock concert ever. Because growing up, I was never a big fan of, again, introverted, not really the biggest fan of crowds and all that stuff. So I never enjoyed going to concerts. But this is the one concert I wanted to make sure I went to, and I'm glad I did. I actually am going to go see T-Pain tomorrow because he is going to be playing here. So surprisingly, this is the year that all the good stuff starts to come to freaking Nebraska. Usually you have to go to freaking Omaha, but and at the time I didn't have a car to go to Omaha, and I ain't gonna lie, this car that I do have, I'm not gonna try to attempt to take it to Omaha because it's a good car, but it's not. I don't think I could probably make it to Omaha, but I don't know if I'd be able to make it back. But I actually get to see T-Pain tomorrow evening, so I probably will shoot a video for that as well. Hence why I did my nails. Sorry, if you guys can see that, I'm really into sunflowers right now, so I just did some French tips with some sunflower decals. The little things, you soak them in water and you can print them on. Those things. Decals. Wow, why is decal stuck in my head? Anyway. So yeah, that's what's life. So basically, life has been lifing. I have been sad. I've been depressed. I've been working a lot, which I think is pretty much everybody. I am trying to actively just keep myself busy. I have had to take a break from TikTok because, let's be honest, every single time I'm on TikTok, it's breaking news about something that this administration has done, or some bullshit, or pardon my language, or some crap that's going on, and I get tired of hearing it. I'm one of those people that I get tired of hearing the negativity. I get tired of hearing just everything. I'm gonna try very hard not to get this too political, but I am not happy with the current administration that is in office right now. The cuts that they're making are incredibly harmful to literally everybody. And the fact that he even got elected for a second term is mind-blowing to me. That is all I will say about that. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that. As somebody with a chronic illness who has to take medication for said chronic illness, the cuts that he's making are making life a little bit harder. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. And of course, anyway, so I've had to take a break from TikTok. I took a break from posting. I did post a lot of my concert footage, a couple cute little montages here and there. I I think the only video I got in its entirety was probably the summoning. No surprise there, since that was the first song that I ever heard from them. Where is it at? Um, Sorry. Again, y'all see me do this technique, a little gripping primer, mix it in with the foundation to really make sure my makeup stays and adheres to my face. And this is the same trick I used for the Sleep Token concert, which is why, even though I was crying and sweating, I did not look like I had been crying and sweating. So, if you take anything from, any tips from this channel, mixing a grippy primer with your foundation is always that's always going to be the move. We want our stuff to stay. And between that and all the baking that we do, baking as in like letting the powder sit on our face for a while, not the other type of baking. We're not talking about baked goods or the third type of baking, which you have to be at least 21 or older to do. So, that's all I'm going to say about that. Anyway. But, so this baking technique using the gripping primer, this is how we get our makeup to stay. And this is how we've always done it. Well, actually, I'm not going to say how I've always done it. I started doing it this year because I had seen, again, Kenya Broadnex. Hi, Kenya. If you ever see my channel, my little, small, less than 30 subscribers channel. But, yeah, that's where I got that tip from. Feel free to use it. And you can take that home with you. So the concert itself was so crazy. Like the lights, I'm not gonna lie, I got a little overstimulated, just a smidgen, only because again there was like a lot of the light work got me a little bit, because I'm like trying to focus and I'm also trying to get my camera to focus, and it was a whole thing. So it was a lot to try to focus on and look at, because I'm one of those people. I wanted to get footage, but I also want to just take everything in. I wanted to take in and drink in that I'm here, I'm at this concert, I'm around people who like this band just as much as I do. I'm trying to take all of that in on top of get footage and make these memories and take these videos. And it was great. It was absolutely wonderful. So another reason why I've also been taking a break from my channel is because I'm thinking about just doing a complete rebranding. I do still want to make this and keep this as a makeup channel because this is where it originated. But I will probably start doing some reviews of makeup. Y'all have seen a couple of the unboxings that I've done. I'm sure those have been around. I'm thinking about also incorporating like a top 10. What are my top favorite foundations, or drugstore versus expensive brands, which I don't even know if that'll actually be a good video because I don't tend to buy a whole lot of higher brand makeup. I think MAC is the only expensive. MAC and Too Faced? No, MAC and Urban Decay are probably the only two higher end expensive brands I've ever purchased before. I have purchased from... No, just those two. I can't think of anything else. I really don't do a whole lot of high-end makeup because honestly, the price point is getting a little crazy. Just a little bit. And then also, I can't justify spending like $40 on a foundation if it's just a one-time thing. If it's a one-time thing, yes, but continuously doing it is not sustainable because I do this every day and y'all see the amount of product that I use, so it's not a sustainable practice to buy a $40 foundation that I have to use every single day. It would make sense if it was like a special use foundation, but I like a good coverage. I like a good full coverage foundation. I want it to have a matte finish, and the ones that offer that are ridiculously priced. I'm sorry. But I'm sorry, you know what? I have bought Fenty Beauty before, which is good, but this was in the earlier times where it used to oxidize really badly. So Fenty Beauty, and I think the formula has changed, but again, it's another brand. I'm like, I can't justify spending that much money. $40. If I bought a drugstore brand, right now I'm using Uomo, which is on sale because unfortunately the president of that company passed away. So it was like $7 or $8. And I'm also mixing it with Euphoria, which we know Euphoria has had some controversy around it by itself. But it was on sale, so I just mixed the two together, and that's how I'm getting the shade that I'm working with currently. I like to buy all of my foundations while they're on sale. My normal go-tos are one of these. This is Fit Me, the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless. This is my winter shade 370 Deep Bronze. It is a lot cooler shaded, so I could probably start wearing this now because the temperature has dropped quite substantially. But I'm opting not to right now. The Yeah, it's this one. I wanted to make sure I'm grabbing the right concealer. So, when it comes down to like drugstore brands, I prefer drugstore products. They're cheaper. For $40, I can load up and get two or three versus spending $40 and only getting one bottle, which may last me about a month. Uh, One of the other drugstore brands I like NYX Cosmetics or NYX. They have um I have to find it now. But they have a brand of foundation that I love dearly because it works. First of all, the color, perfect color match. I never had a problem with getting it to match. Secondly, it just fits my face better. And it's within a good cost point, and you get a lot of product for like $16. So I would rather pay $16 and get a good amount of product versus $40 and end up scraping for what I need at the end of the month. So just a little adult math there. Anyway, so I'm gonna take my. I'm gonna let this dry down a little bit. I'm just trying to do a little patty. Center of the nose. Oh, and I'm sorry, I also forgot. So the end of the concert, they ended with Infinite Baths. And oh, they did Aqua Regia too. And they did Alkaline, which is again some of my favorite songs. I loved Aqua Regia because he's just sitting at the edge of the stage. And this is the one time I was like, oh, kind of wish I had pit tickets. Kind of wish I was in the general pit, but that's okay. I mean, pit tickets are like super expensive, and I was trying to keep within a certain budget. Don't get me wrong. I would go to hell and back to see them again in person. But I have to be responsible in my spending. I'm an adult, so I can't sacrifice like rent money or electric or anything like that. Like I want to be able to go and enjoy things, but I also want to be able to enjoy the life afterwards because I still have to go through my day to day, and I don't want to ruin anything. Where's my? So of course you know, being an adult that I am, I made sure everything else was paid before I had my fun. My stepdad always used to say, sometimes you got to give up your fun time for the responsibility. You got to be responsible first, then you can have your fun. Thank you, stepdad. I appreciate that knowledge because now it's stuck in my head forever. And this reminds me, I have to make sure I clean my brushes. My makeup bucket is starting to get really full. So that's going to be something that I will have to work on later. Because God forbid I don't clean my brushes and then I start to break out and all hell breaks loose. So I'm just trying something different here. I'm taking out of the press curve case, I'm taking the color Mango Daiquiri, and I'm just going to use that to set my under eye. I'm still going to set my actual foundation with the powder, but I'm just trying something out. Instead of a brightening powder, I'm trying to utilize this as a highlighter powder. So I'm going to go over my concealed areas with this, and we're going to see if this turns out okay. We're going to see. Y'all know I am forever experimenting with stuff, so take my little. And so the one thing that really threw me off was the concert etiquette. I did not know that people give out like little trinkets and stuff. Like I actually have some of the bracelets. I plan to make a shadow box with them. Oh, I also did catch some of the little paper. This rained down at the end of the show. So this is the sleep token keychain that I got. I really want to put this on my keys, but I don't because I don't want to like ruin it. Here are one of my Jerry's that I got. This is the little sticker that everybody was passing out. This is one of my braces. It is "This place will be your tomb." And then I also have another one that says "Feather Host." And that is so cute. I would love to wear these out, but I'm also like, I don't want to lose them. I don't want anything to happen to them, so I haven't been making it a point to do anything with them. But I do have my little trinkets. I do plan to make a really cute shadow box and maybe seal it in like acrylic or something like that. Or resin if I can find any. And I feel like that would be a great way to commemorate and keep those items without losing them, and I could just keep them forever. So. Yeah. Get on there. So that is all I have for my life update. Um, that's what's been going on. I've been seeking therapy, as everyone should be doing, especially now, and just trying to keep living. Because even though God knows it's been difficult, and it has been very, very difficult, I'm still trying to be the best I can be and not let things get to me. So this does look a little crazy right now. I'll be the first to admit it. I look a little odd because I'm setting contouring and all these other things, and it looks very harsh right now, but I'm going to trust. We're going to do what? We're going to trust the process, that this is going to come out great. Powder, 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 powder. Alright, so I'm going to finish the rest of this off camera, and I will be right back, because I'm going to go bake, which is, y'all don't need to be here for that, so I shall be back. Alright, so we are back. This is the finished look. I'm not mad at it. I like it. I am a little rusty with my contouring, but you know, you live and you learn. Some days the makeup is popping, other days it's not, and that is okay. I'm going to work. I'm really not gonna. It's not like Karl Lagerfeld or somebody who's gonna stop me and be like, oh my god, your makeup is incredible. But yeah, and I also revamped this synthetic kinky wig. I threw some curlers in her, and I combed out the curls last night, and I hung her upside down. I was worried it wasn't gonna come out right, but I did that. Yeah. Yeah. All right, but anyway, I hope you lovely beauties have a great day. I am gonna go work now. So, love you, bye.